The music just makes you want to dance. 7 a.m. It does.
It doesn't really, but it makes you want to watch.
Here today.
Abby Huntsman, great to see you.
It's good to be here with you guys. All right, well, now to the race for the White House, and Donald Trump unveiling a new campaign theme in Miami, while Hillary Clinton desperately tries to stir up controversy about her opponent.
So what in the world's going on? Oh, Garrett Tenney knows. That's why we're going to him live from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Garrett.
Good morning, Tucker, Clayton, and Abby. Enthusiasm has not been an issue for Donald Trump's campaign, even before Hillary Clinton called his supporters a basket of deplorables. And while that comment appears to be hurting her in the polls, it certainly served as a rallying call for Trump supporters, and the campaign is fully embracing it as well. At a rally in Miami last night, Trump took the stage to a song from the Broadway musical Les Miserables, or Les Miserables, as they say in French. And during that rally, Trump again went after Hillary Clinton for her stance on gun control, repeating the claim that she'll take away people's guns if she's elected, while at the same time being protected by armed bodyguards 24/7. Well, he's now facing some blowback from the Clinton campaign and many in the mainstream media for encouraging an assassination attempt, as they described it. Take a listen for yourself.
I think that her bodyguards should drop all weapons. They should disarm, right? Right? I think they should disarm immediately. What do you think? Yes? Yes. Yeah. Take their guns away. She doesn't want guns. Let's see what happens to her. Take their guns away, okay? It'd be very dangerous.
Now, instead of explaining that in reality Clinton has said she does not plan to take away people's guns, her campaign responded much like it did last month after Trump made similar comments by labeling him as dangerous, saying in a statement, Donald Trump has a pattern of inciting people to violence, whether this is done to provoke protesters at a rally or casually or even as a joke. It is an unacceptable quality in anyone seeking the job of commander-in-chief. If you look at the latest poll numbers, there's good reason the Clinton camp is doing everything it can to change the narrative from her health, her family's foundation, and her numerous email scandals. The latest Real Clear Politics average shows Clinton is leading Trump nationally by just 1.5 points. To put that in perspective, 2 weeks ago, she was ahead by 6. Abby, Tucker, Clayton.
Wow. Thanks, Garrett Tenney. You know, this morning we had to pry the New York Times out of Governor Huckabee's hands, the paper that he loves to read every morning.
And that was a tough pry.
It was. It really was tough. Governor, good to see you this morning. One of the tear-outs from this, the comments by Donald Trump about guns was, we'll read this for you. Donald J. Trump once again raised the specter of violence against Hillary Clinton, suggesting Friday that the Secret Service agents who guard her voluntarily disarm to see what happens to her without their protection. Basically, other media outlets saying he's calling for an assassination.
Well, that's utter nonsense. I mean, he's not calling for anything like that. What he's saying is he's pointing out the absolute Hillary hypocrisy that we see every day. Guns for me, good thing. Guns for you, bad thing. She's been surrounded by people who are heavily armed since the 1970s, with just that little 2-year slip when her husband wasn't governor. But think about that. Since 1978, she's been surrounded by people who have protected her with what? With their fist or with a notepad, writing a note and saying, don't hurt her. No, people with guns.
Right.
So why? What's the danger? Well, if she faces danger, maybe a lot of other people living in tough neighborhoods face danger. Should they not be able to protect themselves? Disarming law-abiding citizens doesn't make sense to law-abiding citizens.
But isn't it of a piece with her general worldview? I mean, she lectures us on diversity and sends her own daughter to Sidwell. She lectures us on the importance of universal health care. She's not in an exchange. She's got a private doctor. She lectures us on our carbon footprints, and she flies private. Like, it's a whole laws for you, not for me worldview, is it not?
But that is, in essence, what people are so disgusted about by politicians. It's the great unwashed should not feel that they have a role in saying what they want out of their government. And Hillary and those around her, the swells, the people who paid $250,000 to go to the foundation dinner and throw even more money at the feet of the Clintons, they're the swells. They're the ones that we should all be so grateful for, that they tell us how to live, even though they don't live like the rest of us do. It's really amazing.
It does seem like a bit of desperation that we're seeing from Hillary Clinton and her camp. I mean, we just heard from Garrett Tenney about the polls, and you look at the trend lines, and you were just showing me this on Real Clear Politics, and where things are moving, and you see a real trend up for Donald Trump just within the last 2 or 3 weeks. What is going on? What is changing things in this short period of time?
Well, Hillary is very programmed. There's no excitement to one of her rallies. I mean, I've made the comparison. If you go to a Donald Trump rally, it's like going to an Aerosmith concert. I mean, it's just wild. It's incredible. Go to a Hillary rally, and they have to go out there and try to, pump them up artificially.
That's why they're booking smaller venues, because they're concerned it's not going to be full. Yeah, and,
they get some mannequins and stuff them in the chairs. It's like going to a wake. Everyone's very respectful. Everybody's quiet. I mean, it's just a dramatic difference in terms. There's no enthusiasm. There are people saying, rah, rah, Hillary, rah, rah, Hillary. But they don't feel it.
I was struck by the response, though, because, the Clinton camp came out and responded and said, this is Donald Trump temperament. He's unhinged. And there was supposed to be this shift after her pneumonia break. Yeah. That she was going to come out and talk about family.
Can we put air quotes around pneumonia?
I was about to, but I stopped. I'll let you put the air
quotes. I will.
She, after the pneumonia break, she comes out and said, I'm going to be talking about the family. It's a lighter tone, nicer tone. And then they go right back to attacking Donald Trump.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything she said this week was about Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. I hope she continues that, because that'll ensure Donald Trump is the next president. People don't care what Hillary thinks about Donald Trump. They care what Hillary thinks about getting them jobs back. They care what, Hillary might do to finally confess and own up to the responsibility she's had from everything from Syria policy to Benghazi. I mean, but we're never going to hear that, because this is a very secretive operation. We're never going to hear about the money laundering, the Trini Lopez, if I had a hammer and I busted every phone. There's going to be this constant wall of secrecy. And I think people are tired of that. They want somebody who's spontaneous, who has some joy, who has some fun. Look, whatever else you want to say about Donald Trump, when he goes to that podium, he's having fun. And one thing I've learned about public speaking, if the speaker's having a good time, the audience will.
That is totally true. Right?
If the speaker looks like they drank vinegar for breakfast and swallowed a curtain rod, then the audience will look like they drank vinegar and swallowed a curtain rod.
Are you giving advice? 52 days left to go. What are you telling him in this home stretch?
Have a good time. Be yourself. Don't go out there. The biggest danger to Donald Trump is being surrounded by people who tell him, do this, be careful, don't say.
And you know that from running yourself.
The biggest danger is having a bunch of people who have never been on the stage telling you what to do when you get on the stage. And that's one of the dangers of a campaign that has too many people. A lot of them don't have enough to do, so they think it's their job to tell the candidate how to act, how to talk, what not to say. Look, Donald Trump got here by being Donald Trump. Donald Trump needs to continue having a good time, relaxing, being himself. That's what won him the primary, and it's what's going to win him the election.
So I want to ask you about a documentary that you're involved in called Targeting, Exposing the Gun Control Agenda. Gun control is sold to the public by the left as a way to keep us safe, but there's clearly something else going on here. It's not simply about keeping us safe. That's been long my suspicion. What does this documentary expose about the real agenda?
It's a great documentary. I was interviewed for it. That's the role that I had in it. But it's a documentary in which a young millennial sets out to ask the question, should we have gun control? Would it help? Would it stop the Sandy Hooks and the Auroras? And it's a very honest and objective look. I think every American would really benefit by seeing it, because it's filled with facts and, exposes the hypocrisies, exposes the fallacies that are often put. But I think it's especially helpful for people who say, if we could just save one life, if we can enact these gun control measures. Here's an example. More people every year are killed by hammers in the U.S. than are killed by rifles. Now, that's just a statistical fact.
I've never heard that before. Interesting.
It's true. So, when people say we've got to get these rifles stopped, okay, that's fine. But we're not going to stop the murders of people. And it really exposes the lies, the mistruths, and the hypocrisy of the left. It's a great documentary.
You're making me want to pick at Home Depot, just hearing that.
I think we should.
They sell hammers without any kind of background check. They sell these deadly devices, and there's no background check. When will it stop, Governor? When will it stop?
It's good to have you here this morning.
Thank you. Great to be here. Go see the movie. It's very, very informative, targeted. Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Governor. Great to see you.
All right, we do have some headlines that we want to get to you this morning. We start with a Fox News alert. 4 police officers shot down in the line of duty in 2 separate cities, Philadelphia and Fort Worth. First in Philadelphia, where Sergeant Sylvia Young was shot at least 8 times while sitting in her squad car. Luckily, she survived. The shooter tried to get away.